Joining us now, Dr. Jonathan Metzl, director of the Center for Medicine, Health, and Society at Vanderbilt, where he studies guns and gun policy in America. He is also the author of the book, Dying of Whiteness. All right, why is the Supreme Court hearing a case that's effectively moot?
Well, as we just heard, they really shouldn't be hearing this case. There's really nothing at stake here and on the level of the case. The plaintiffs already have gotten what they wanted. The law is actually no longer on the books. So I think it's concerning that they're hearing this political case at all. Part of the issue, I think, as we just heard from that report, is that there's precedent here to expand the 2008 Heller ruling. And so I think the fear on the side of gun control is that what they might do is use a case like this, a case that really isn't even an argument, to expand gun rights beyond just the right of having a gun in your home and basically make an argument that would be twofold. I think the most concerning part of that would be that anybody could carry a loaded handgun anywhere they wanted within certain constraints, and also that cities and states, cities like New York, states like New York, really couldn't do anything to regulate where people could carry handguns. And I think what would happen then is it would throw a host of local and state level regulations really up for grabs.
So in terms of this is about having more guns on the streets, do we not look to just 3 days ago in London when there was a terror attack in a place that has much stricter gun laws? And yes, it was terrible to see 2 people killed, but compare that to the United States, where we don't have to use just knives, which the attacker there did. In Dayton, Ohio this summer, a man walked into a bar and in 32 seconds injured 27 people and killed 9.
Look, we have about 40,000 gun deaths a year in this country. We have all kinds of gun deaths, not just, terror attacks and homicides, but also we lead the world in gun suicides, partner violence, other kinds of shootings. And so I feel like the popular opinion really has been going toward a reasonable balance, right? On one hand, we respect the Second Amendment, but we also say that states and cities and taxpayers should be able to set limits on just basically on where people can carry guns and who can own guns. And I think really what's happening now is the Supreme Court is really going against that popular opinion potentially. And I think a worst case scenario for what might happen with this case is that they set a precedent that could overturn all of the work that's really happened since Sandy Hook, where cities and states have gotten together and said, on one hand, we respect the Second Amendment. On the other hand, we have things like assault weapons bans or red flag laws, background checks. All of those things really could be thrown up for grabs with a particular ruling in this case, again, that really shouldn't be being heard in the first place.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.